Katrine Engberg, she has a background as an actor, a dancer, a choreographer, and a director. She published her first crime novel in 2016. The Swedish title was Krokodilväktaren. And this debut was followed by Blodmåne in 2017, Glasvinge in 2018, and Vådaskott in 2019. And these are all 4 police novels that are available in Swedish translation. The most recently, Vådaskott, has been published in Sweden earlier this year. And in Denmark, you have also a 5th novel in this series called Isola. That was published last year. And this is a series, as I said, of police novels. They're set in Copenhagen, and we meet your 2 police detectives, Annette Werner and Jeppe Körner. And in the crime fiction tradition in the Nordic countries following Swedish Maj Sjöwall and Per Wahlöö, it's been common to use the crime genre in order to discuss social and political issues in our societies. And in your novels, you always bring up currently discussed social topics or themes. Do you see that as an important part of the crime fiction genre? And how do you choose what themes or issues to bring out in your novels?
Well, I think it is important, no matter which genre you write, to write about something that is important to you. So even if you write deckara and it's supposed to be entertaining and fun and exciting, it also has to mean something to you. It has to have heart. If you, for me as a reader, if I read a book, no matter how sharp it is and fast-paced and exciting, if I can't feel the heartbeat of the writer on the pages, I get bored. So for me, it's about writing about something that I care about. And I care about society. I think most of us do. There are many issues every day for all of us. I think when we open the newspaper or turn on the news, that concern us, that excite us, that makes us furious. And these are all things that I work into the books. It's not the main part of the book, but it's about finding those topics that are important to me. I mean, love is important too. I have a lot of love in my books as well, even though they are deckara. Yeah.
Are there any topics in particular that are close to your heart? In this book, for example, there are some environmental issues.
Yeah, but that's more on the side. I think to me, I'm not a political writer at all. I'm not Sjöwall and Wahlöö, even though I love them. But I think to me, I always come back to human psychology. The question of why is always on the forefront of my mind. Like, why do we commit crimes? Can we all be pushed to the limits? I think the answer is yes. Everyone who is a parent knows that if someone hurts your child, you are capable of anything. So it's only a question of how far you're being pushed. And this psychology is always interesting to me. And just the relations between people. I always somehow come back to parents and children. I don't know why. Maybe I have some unresolved issues that I need to look at, speak to a psychologist about. This book is also very much, how do you say, a coming of age, the journey from child to adult, the teenhood. I keep coming back to that somehow.
No matter what important topics are involved, as you said, it's also important that the crime novel is suspenseful and entertaining. Which are your favorite tricks or writing strategies for creating suspense?
I have no tricks. I'm sorry.
You have.
I do.
I learned one thing about you. You collect odd topics, all the things that you find in an art museum or a newspaper or whatever, and you find 10 of them. 10 items, put them on a wall, you can't put these items together. They have
don't match.
nothing with each other to do. But you do that anyway.
Yes.
And that is one technique to build what I think is really nice to read about you.
Yeah.
The odd parts that suddenly fit together in some way.
It's true. It's true. But to me, that's not a trick. That's actually the opposite. I always feel like, why do I have to work this way? It's so hard. Because it's true what you say. Whenever I start a writing process, I find different pusselbitar. I don't even know the English word. And they can be very different. It can be a psychological complex that I read about. Something really cool. Like there's this trauma where you wake up one morning and you're convinced that you're dead. You're alive, you have your morning coffee, but you feel that you're dead. And you tell everybody, why don't you bury me? Like this syndrome, interesting. Okay, so I put that on the wall. And then I find a building in Copenhagen, like in this one, there's a crazy building in Copenhagen called Amager Bakke, which is a waste plant where we put all the trash in Copenhagen. It doesn't sound very sexy, I know, the trash, but it's built by a very famous architect group, world famous, and they put on the roof of this building a ski slope.
Yeah, you can ski on the top of that.
On the top of the waste plant.
It's called Copenhill also.
Copenhill
in English.
Exactly. So I thought, this is crazy. I put that on the wall. So now I have the syndrome and I have a waste plant. And then, I have these different, it's just like you say, and I don't just put 10 of them on the wall,
Okay.
I put 30 on the wall.
In the last one, you take Caliban from Shakespeare.
Yes.
You take
This
from
is-
Dante's Inferno, you take
Yes,
the Ninth
yes.
Circle.
Yes.
It's very,
and
very
also
different.
in this book, I take The Picture of Dorian Gray by Oscar Wilde, which is one of the best books ever written. I put that on the wall. Yes, and they have nothing to do with each other. And then I look at it and I think, okay, I have no idea. I don't know what's going on. But the thing, the crucial thing is, and I think Arne just said it beautifully, it's not that I choose, okay, here is a glass, I want to write about a glass. No, I have to put these things on a wall, and then I can feel them speak to me. And if they don't speak to me, it sounds a little crazy, I know, but they have to kind of do something in me. And it's not an idea, I'm not ready to write it, but I can feel some kind of energy. And if I don't feel that energy, I take them off the wall. So
You
in
cheat,
the end,
you cheat.
No, it's the trick. That's the trick. So in the end, maybe I have 10 of these pusselbitar left, and then I start to see connections. Okay, so what could Caliban from Shakespeare possibly have to do with a waste plant? Okay, so Caliban is a monster. He lives in hell. Have you ever been to a waste plant? Have you ever seen the trash, which is what we all produce every day without thinking about it? When you go to a waste plant and you look at it, it is like looking into Dante's Inferno. It's the hell. It's so gray, it's dead, everything is rotten. And if you look down there, you think to yourself, okay, if I fell over now, I fall into this sea of waste, I will never be seen again. So, okay, that's a connection somehow. Okay, so that's how I work. And it's very, very complicated, but I like complicated. I like complex things. So I write like this. And in the end, I have to clean up a lot and rewrite. But in the end, hopefully everything comes together.
When reading your novels, it's also clear that you dedicate a lot of focus and space to the private lives of your main characters.
Yes.
And that is, of course, something that makes them very likable and complex to the readers. But do you regard their private turmoils as a separate story running through the novels of your series, or do you try to use their stories in order to mirror other events in the novel?
Yes, that's a great question. And actually, what I always aim to do is have one main theme for the book, one kind of a feeling or a focus. And this focus, this theme, has to touch every single person in the book, including my protagonists. So if I write a book where loneliness is the main theme, all my main characters have to be touched by the theme and feel lonely in some way. So it's a very I work that into all my characters as well.
I think we had the question from Arne Dahl about how you are coming up with these different elements. I think you already answered.
He stole your question.
He stole it from me.
Yeah, he did. You told him backstage, and then he went on stage and he was like, "Yeah,
happy with that answer." But you have another novel out in Danish already, Isola. Do you know when we will get to see that here in Sweden?
I think it will be out next year. I'm pretty sure. It's being translated right now. And like the others, they can all be read separately, even though I have the same protagonist from Krokodilväktaren going through all 4 books. The series is 4 books here in Sweden. You can still read them separately. So,
do you know why the Swedish publisher jumped over the second one?
Yes, it's a little complicated.
Okay.
But I've had many Swedish readers write to me and say, "What's up?" But it was an assessment at the time that it would be better for the series to make it 4 books, and then I rewrote parts of the first and the third so that they could be read without the second part.
Okay.
I read somewhere that Isola should be the last in this series. Is it right?
Yes.
It's like,
Yes.
so
I'm
sorry.
a little bit like my good colleague Arne Dahl, that I have to feel excited about what I write. I don't want to be a machine. And well, no one does, I know, but to be motivated, I have to feel excited and I have to think in a new universe sometimes. And so for now, it's not like I kill everybody at the end of book 5. You know, I can maybe someday I will go back to this series, but I'm working on a new project. Yeah, and I was just thinking, I want how do you say, another name like Arne. He's writing under 2 different names, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
What could you help me, like Katrine Engberg or?
Well, Arne Dahl just threw all the letters
Together.
around. Yeah.
Oh, that's what he did.
Yeah,
Oh,
yes.
he's like
So
but he's a
maybe if you
number
start
guy.
playing with them,
He's like a very yeah. So if you have any suggestions, come find me in the break, and I'll I'll dedicate my next book to you.
Yeah. And before we let you go out and meet her out there during the break.
One thing more, we must tell you that Katrine recently got the Martha Award in Denmark. That is the most prestigious literary award you can get. And that is really important. And I really will urge you to read her. You have never, ever read anyone that is so courageous. She's quite mad, and it's really. She's some kind of Wonder Woman, and
that could be my new name.
Yeah, you must have a cape.
Wonder Woman. I like that. Okay.
She's great to read.
Thank you so much.
Okay, we just need to get a question from you to Dick Harrison. He's a historian who writes historical crime novels.
Ooh, okay.
Yes.
That might make my next. But he has a. Is it a series? Does he have the same?
He has 2 different series.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
So, do you ever feel like killing your own protagonists?
Okay, that's a good question.
Thank you very much.
You're
and
welcome.
we're going to do a break now. I think we meet here again at 7:45. The bar is open, the bookstore is open, and the authors will be around the bookstore somehow.